can you talk a little bit about why you were drawn to this film and why this was good for your feature debut?
Well,
or if it wasn't,
we're still finding out whether it's going to be good for my feature debut or not. That'll all depend whether it's successful or not, and lots of people, if people love it or not. Well, I mean, look, Peter asked me to direct it, and I was already sort of starting to, take the more sensible step into directing a feature film, which was sort of, setting up a sort of a small little genre project that suddenly got hit like a steam train by this thing when Peter asked me to do it. But obviously, if I didn't like the stories or I didn't like the book, I wouldn't have said, yeah, I'll direct something that I kind of really don't like just to do it. That would have been stupid. But when he asked me, I had a whole lot of, okay, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? What because the fear in you of this responsibility is going to instantly make you want to run a mile. But I either had to sort of had to sink or swim really. So I jumped in and decided to just start swimming. But why I said yes was because we wanted to create something new. Wanted to create show this unique world that Philip had written. Put it on screen and show audiences something they've never seen before, but hopefully in an entertaining way that has a lot of human heart to it. So
60 minutes is all it took to bring humanity to the very brink of extinction. Mankind mobilized. A new age arose. The age of the great predator cities. Survival of the fastest.
My heart went out to Shrike on first read. Felt that I kind of detected immediately the seeds of tragedy in this character, and as actors I think often we're attracted to that, the sorrow of the character, the pity of the character, and the terrifying nature of the character. I wanted to be the one to bring that to life.
I think initially for me was that Valentine sort of presents like a dashing, romantic figure, like a pirate captain or something, but actually is revealed to have many other qualities. So all of that complexity.
Can you talk a little bit about the balance that you managed to maintain between the mechanical and the visual representation of the buildings versus the humanity?
Yeah, I mean, well, look, I mean, any story should be driven by its characters, right? So it's human characters, and we or not so human characters, but by its human story, and but we also knew, we needed to sell, we wanted to have like spectacle and have all this action, but it was just a process of starting with the big scene at the beginning with London's chasing down Salzhaken, and that's municipal Darwinism at work. That's cities hunting down smaller towns for resources. But we just had to sort of sell that through our characters. So, we have Hester on board Salzhaken. We show her sort of, her journey to get on it as the towns are all starting to flee. We have Valentine in the wheelhouse. We introduce all these other characters. In fact, Tom's the last character we introduce, with the exception of obviously Anna, who's a character who shows up later, and Shrike. But we introduce Shrike at the beginning in a very sneaky way, and if you've read the books, you'll kind of know why he's doing the narration at the beginning of the film.
What was it like? Can you talk about working on sets that were mostly digital, or what was that process?
Yeah, actually, most of the sets were there. Oh. A lot of the major elements were there. Sometimes the sets were completely there, and sometimes, of course, they were barely there. But I always got a sense of the world in which we were working, the environment in which we were working, and the ones where we had less of a sense of that always have access to those the art department images for that particular set or for that particular environment. Mm-hmm. So and then you jump in as creative artists, and you're visualizing the things that aren't there. But by and large, the sets were pretty phenomenal. Mm-hmm.
And Stephen, what was the motion capture like for your role?
Well, it was interesting in that in this particular production, I was the only one doing performance capture. And so it put I guess a special onus on me, but it also put a responsibility and maybe an opportunity on the actors who I was working opposite. You know, so much of I would attempt to bring. Look, in terms of acting, no matter what you're acting in, it's going to present it's a very specific set of acting challenges. In this one of the challenges is that I'm not wearing wardrobe, I'm not 8 foot tall, and so I need to supply that for myself. And that's the definition of what I do. It's my job to do that. So I did it, but it was totally enhanced by the belief that I saw in the fear and terror I would see in Robbie Sheehan's eyes, the love and fear and pleading that I would see in Hester Shaw's eyes.
And the love you saw in Valentine's.
Actually, we had a really interesting scene together. It's unfortunately the only scene we have together, but we were in the same sound stage.
We were talking together.
And we were on a set that was split because he's outside and I'm inside.
I'm looking into a box in which Stephen isn't in.
And I'm looking out of a box where Hugo is not. And there we were.
But we're talking to each other.
We're probably 30 yards from each other, talking to each other. So it was quite a unique situation.
Doing this scene.
Yeah, and you know, it worked out pretty
It
good.
was actually great to do it. Just to hear that voice.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Now, Peter Jackson pretty much gave you your start. Was it intimidating or soothing to be directing this film for him?
Intimidating. Yeah, I mean, it was great that I had the backup of Peter and Fran and Philippa and the whole team around me. I mean, most people, most of the team that I worked with on this film, I've worked with them in their departments as well. So I kind of know right through the sort of the hierarchy what it's like to be working at every level on a film crew. So you got to treat everyone on your crew with respect. But nothing. It's always intimidating. It's always terrifying. You're driving in there, and you're just second guessing all the things that could go wrong and how you can sort of curtail that, how you can be more efficient, and ultimately you just want to make something good. You want to make something that's fun, that people is an excuse. People to get out of their homes and go buy some popcorn and sit down, and you just want them to have a good time and also feel something at the end of it. So I don't know, hopefully we've done that.
You sure you want to do this? Once we go in, there's no going back.
I have to.